This is shaping up to be the most talked about divorce in Hollywood's recent memory, with shocking details emerging from Montecito that leave everyone stunned. Sources close to the situation say Prince Harry is bracing himself for an intense legal showdown, pushing for full custody of the kids as Meghan Markle allegedly gears up for an aggressive defense in court. In this video, we're diving deep into the wild speculation, supposed filings, and insider whispers that are flipping everything we believed about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex upside down. Word is spreading that Harry has finally hit his limit, pointing fingers at his wife for intense emotional pressure, tight reins on finances, and deliberate efforts to cut him off from others. Social media is exploding with royal enthusiasts and followers debating whether this once ideal romance has crashed and burned completely. Before we unpack the alleged hidden drama of this California courtroom clash, do me a favor. If you're eager to hear the unfiltered scoop on what's really happening behind the scenes, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel immediately. We'll be breaking down every fresh rumor, accusation, and purported legal detail as it unfolds, so you won't want to skip any part of it. Go ahead and hit subscribe, leave a comment sharing which side you're leaning toward, and let's jump right into the harsh reality shattering the appearance of harmony. For a long time, the story fed to the world about the Sussexes was one of unbreakable togetherness and deep commitment. They presented a flawless vision of life in California, seemingly beyond reproach, a royal who stepped away from tradition to safeguard his contemporary family. Yet, according to certain accounts, a much harsher and more confining truth was unfolding inside the walls of their expansive, high-value Montecito home. Allegations suggest Meghan assumed complete authority over their image, schedules, and especially Harry's allegiance. She reportedly oversaw every element of their public persona, certain that his reliance on her direction was so strong he'd never muster the strength to leave. Those in the know describe this as more than just running a prominent household. It was about keeping a firm psychological advantage constantly. Stories depict a luxurious but oppressive setup where choices about friends, causes they backed, and more were all screened through a single viewpoint. Imagine the unseen influence needed to sustain that level of oversight. Accounts from ex-employees and entertainment figures point to a setup where staff turnover prevented Harry from building lasting bonds, quietly marginalizing or overriding his input. Online chatter has suggested for a while that the constant closeness, dramatic shows of affection, and sincere gestures weren't purely romantic, but deliberate efforts to maintain an image of solidarity, concealing rising tension privately. Many believe Harry was gradually pushed into a secondary role in his own narrative, left isolated in a place where he lacked deep connections, family ties, or a clear way out. What began as a bold move toward independence from Britain reportedly evolved into a different form of confinement. Eventually, that tightly controlled world had to crack. What followed caught people off guard. Driving someone to their emotional edge seldom turns out peacefully, and claims point to a critical error that altered their relationship permanently. Speculation indicates mounting strain from strict financial oversight began severely straining their everyday interactions. Every expense, deal, and venture was supposedly tightly monitored, leaving Harry feeling trapped and diminished despite his substantial personal wealth. Certain theories highlight uneven handling of finances, with suggestions that resources were directed toward independent projects, risking their shared security. Yet money was allegedly only part of the problem. The deeper harm reportedly came from a methodical campaign to separate him from support networks, longtime friends, military contacts, UK advisors, and eventually his father and brother. Sources claim that during intense arguments at home, the children were used as tools, escalating ordinary conflicts into emotionally charged battles. Online discussions have floated ideas that Harry was constantly reminded of his sacrifices and how isolated he'd be without her, fostering a harmful loop of guilt, anxiety, and duty. Claims suggest his earlier experiences were exploited to demand obedience, portraying external input as dangers to their family's well-being. Any effort to reconnect quietly or seek guidance reportedly faced strong pushback. This supposed strategy aimed to deepen his reliance, ensuring he had nowhere else to turn under pressure. Surprisingly, it produced the opposite effect. Rather than fully crushing him, these alleged tactics reportedly awakened a fierce determination to break free. He sensed the enclosure tightening and the flaws in their high-profile life threatening to surface dramatically. Their polished public image started disintegrating quicker than anticipated, with tensions inside reportedly hitting critical levels. Accounts tie the public failure of their big media agreements to the final trigger exposing marital fractures. When a lucrative podcast deal evaporated and executives criticized their approach, the resulting financial hit supposedly intensified Harry's frustration and bitterness. Observers note the challenge of upholding an extravagant way of life without consistent earnings created a volatile atmosphere at home. Consider the mounting costs, security, publicists, property taxes, all accumulating as revenue slowed. Behind the facade, Harry reportedly shifted from passive acceptance to discreet strategic steps. Whispers indicate he quietly sought therapy not only for personal healing, but to grasp the patterns of emotional influence he felt trapped in daily, working to dispel years of confusion. The most startling claim involves his actions during their most private conflicts. Under the cover of therapeutic practices or personal reflection, and adhering to all legal requirements, Harry allegedly started documenting their disputes through recordings. Insiders suggest he was methodically collecting proof to safeguard himself if things deteriorated fully. He recognized that leaving would pit his account against a media-savvy opponent, with public skepticism likely favoring her. Solid, concrete documentation of cycles of dispute and supposed psychological tactics became essential when no cameras were present. That evidence would ultimately spark events reshaping perceptions of modern royalty forever. Rumors pinpoint January 17, 2025 as the day a decisive boundary was crossed, igniting a legal storm still rippling through entertainment circles. Reports assert this marked Prince Harry's official filing for divorce dissolution in Los Angeles Superior Court. Far from a rash outburst, it was supposedly a carefully orchestrated, covert operation carried out with precision. Certain accounts describe him quietly gathering necessities, departing the Montecito property unnoticed, and promptly securing strong legal safeguards for himself and the children. Massive online discussion surrounds how he kept it secret from photographers, staff, and crucially his wife until official submission. Many see the extreme discretion as evidence of genuine fear over her response and the urgency of the moment. Instead of high-profile celebrity attorneys, he reportedly chose a low-key but formidable team experienced in complex, contentious international family cases. This wasn't merely separation planning, it was preparation for full confrontation. The filing cited irreconcilable differences, but sealed sections allegedly outlined the marriage's psychological impact, seeking firm limits on custody and travel. The approach aimed to strike quickly and decisively, offering no opening for counter moves or narrative control. Yet the Duchess wasn't prepared to concede easily. Her alleged response would pave the way for one of the fiercest celebrity legal clashes ever seen. As word spread, frantic efforts to contain the damage kicked in. But the full impact went far beyond that initial moment. When the alleged January action finally registered at the Montecito residence, the reaction was reportedly explosive. Sources say she was utterly caught off guard by the stealthy maneuver, watching her carefully built story slip away in real time. Claims describe an immediate shift to crisis mode, rallying top PR specialists and strategists. Her first step supposedly involved retaining high-profile attorney Laura Wasser, renowned for dominating Los Angeles family disputes. A bold statement of intent to contest fiercely rather than settle quietly. Theories suggest a coordinated effort to rewrite events, selectively sharing details with sympathetic outlets to cast her as the injured party dealing with an unstable partner. Online talk points to efforts portraying Harry's departure and filing as erratic behavior from someone detached, rather than a deliberate escape from harm. Allegedly, every possible connection in the industry was activated to secure favorable coverage, prioritizing the local star over the relocated royal. It was supposedly a textbook redirection, aiming to overshadow his concerns with sympathetic portrayals of her distress. She anticipated Hollywood's full backing to suppress his perspective before it gained traction. But that control began to falter dramatically. The polished PR operation slammed into reality with a major disclosure that reverberated worldwide. Intense speculation surrounds a detailed sworn statement from Prince Harry that reportedly reached media hands, with its contents described as seismic. This wasn't routine paperwork, it allegedly dismantled their entire shared image. Claims suggest it chronicled prolonged emotional strain, mapping a pattern of control that distanced him from normal life. Discussions online highlight supposed examples of public facing composure masking private berating right before appearances, compelling him to mask inner turmoil. The filings purportedly showed erosion of his confidence, tying his sense of value to her approval. A particularly severe allegation involves therapy. Harry reportedly pleaded for joint counseling to repair their bond, only to face consistent rejection, with her allegedly attributing issues solely to his past while defending her actions. This ongoing denial of help supposedly crystallized his understanding that the relationship lacked true equality. It was a lopsided struggle he was losing. The public struggled to absorb these grave accusations, stunned at how an iconic modern love story had allegedly turned so dark. The illusion crumbled publicly in real time. But an even greater revelation lay deeper in the documents, with his subsequent step altering the entire dynamic. If the emotional claims lit the fuse, his custody request detonated everything, stalling proceedings across the system. Reports state Harry pursued sole physical and legal custody of Archie and Lilibet, an extraordinary ask in California, demanding overwhelming evidence that has observers guessing at his proof strength. Beyond primary responsibility, the petition allegedly sought only supervised access for Meghan. Consider the weight of that request. Theories indicate this stemmed not from malice but documented concerns over travel risks. Supposedly, Harry voiced deep worries that losing grip amid personal and public collapse could prompt her to flee with the children to a foreign location, severing his access permanently. His team reportedly acted to prevent this by demanding passports be held by the court, confining movements within California pending resolution. Sources portray a fiercely protective father convinced the kids might become leverage for massive financial gains. He was ready to draw on lingering royal ties and global rules to safeguard boundaries, fighting not merely as a spouse but as a guardian of his lineage. The establishment he once rejected now informed his strategy for security. The conflict was set, and California courts had rarely witnessed such elite-level intensity. Harry held a powerful advantage, with courtroom evidence poised to create total upheaval. Security was tight, but the prince's alleged documentation inside his case represented an irreversible escalation. Sources claim he entered court not with vague charges, but a substantial body of concrete proof. Rumors long suggested he was privately recording his experiences. The scale of material his lawyers prepared reportedly stunned even veteran attorneys. Theories include legally obtained audio capturing the tone and content of alleged controlling behavior privately. These were meant to dismantle her composed public image, revealing a domineering pattern hidden from view. Beyond recordings, significant talk surrounds affidavits from ex-Montecito staff detailing heated exchanges, separation strategies, and instances where children were drawn into disputes. Freed from prior agreements in court, these witnesses supposedly offered candid insights into a harmful atmosphere and its effects on him. To strengthen this, evaluations from leading mental health experts allegedly depicted a man eroded through manipulation and disconnection from support. This fortress of evidence left no ambiguity. If the judge reviewed his sole custody plea, doubt would be minimal. The enormity signaled no retreat, no easy resolution, no calm discussion. He'd committed fully, prepared to reveal every concealed issue in their lavish home. But the consequences escaped containment, sparking an instant, devastating public breakdown that demolished their standing overnight. In Hollywood's cutthroat arena, reputation equals value, and the once impregnable Sussex brand faced total collapse. As hints of Harry's filings entered wider circulation, their projected unity vanished instantly. Viewers watched stunned as the tale of a progressive pair challenging outdated tradition fell apart. Widespread re-evaluation swept through, with people questioning if Harry had truly driven his liberation or served as a figure in another's design. Speculation drove scrutiny of past interviews, specials, and events for overlooked clues to the now alleged dominance. Reports noted celebrity supporters distancing themselves rapidly from the fallout. Business ties and sponsors paused dealings, wary of association with a cautionary saga. The image of devoted, altruistic figures shattered, supplanted by views of a manipulated, orchestrated dynamic rooted in profound separation. Meghan's narrative as a target of UK media was overshadowed by claims positioning her as the primary force at home. The contrast was stark. A pair that sought seclusion became the focus of intense, unprecedented exposure in celebrity annals. Their every action over years faced global dissection, leaving many feeling misled. With their world in ruins and opinion decisively shifted, only the courtroom remained for final reckoning. What began as a prince's transatlantic pursuit of love has plunged into the most unforgiving aspects of Los Angeles family law. No royal safeguards, no institutional remedies, no international buffers remain. Accounts depict a brutal California proceeding where intimate secrets fuel fights for custody and vast resources. The case appears headed toward total warfare, with assets, properties, and private exchanges exposed under scrutiny. Talk centers on complex divisions of media income and support, with experts tracing convoluted structures and accounts. Yet money takes second place to the wrenching struggle over Archie and Lilibet. Theories portray the children as the tragic centerpiece in mutual destruction, both sides ready to destroy reputations for advantage. The irony of their California reinvention weighs heavily. The Duke, who escaped Britain's constraints to heal cycles of pain, now faces a harsher, fully public arena of American celebrity dissolution. He exchanged quiet royal tensions for the brutal, open combat of a high-stakes split. This story compels reflection on what the powerful present, showing that promised liberation can mask peril, and grand exteriors often conceal profound darkness. Which side do you support in this groundbreaking divorce battle? Comment, Team Harry, if you find the claims of control convincing. or Team Meghan, if you see this as orchestrated against her. Subscribe now. We'll track every new development inside her account and filing in this huge story. You won't want to miss what's next.